What do you mean? Read the show notes. I always read the show notes, Pika. I read down what you write. I have to wear the toque. I have to wear the toque all season. He is the boss, and I am just the talent. Pre-recorded before a live studio audience of my stuffed animals. It's the comics coffee table. That's right. Pull up a chair. Grab a cuppa. Whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today there, pal. We talk about comic books. We take a comic book coffee break daily, or your lunch break. Whatever you're breaking, guess what? May it not be your balls or your eggs. Sláinte. Cheers. We're here to take our lunch or our coffee break together, and to take our minds off our minds, and to not get so wound up with outrage over this and that and the other thing. This is a geeky chill stream. It's supposed to be. We get a little bit mad here and there, but it happens. We're only human. But welcome. Yeah, it's festive. See, my Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. How lovely are your... Okay, I don't want to get the copyright strike. And we assemble here daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Turn on those notifications, smash that like button, subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We make geeky content here. And we also, I've fallen off the thing a little bit about making cooking content. It's a little hard at work. Seriously, I mean, I need to... this is my old little iPhone, and I need to literally, at this point, it's 5 years old. It's an iPod X10, XS Max. I got sick and tired of losing one AirPod, and also it's I think this is a better microphone. So I got to plug in a microphone. I got to pop in. Then I got to start shooting, cooking videos at work. I'm a professional chef, so it's one of the best places. I'm always cooking, so it's here, this is what I'm cooking today. And sometimes it's just I don't have time to go through the whole thing. Sometimes I do. I also talk about spirituality and gratitude. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual dude. That's right. We also talk about the geeky stuff. We like to advocate the importance of getting back to your local comic book shop and spending your money there, not just getting new releases and back issues, but your supplies. I made a big point to get my supplies there. Bags, boards, boxes. And instead of getting them from my online supply chain or a big box store, I buy these at my local comic book shop because they need our patronage. Seriously. We can't, we're in a symbiotic relationship with our LCS, our local comic book shops. Yeah, so let's give them the business they deserve. Grab a chair, pull up a chair, grab a cup of whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today there, pal. What are we doing today? This is my 2023 new releases. So far, most of the new releases, except for tomorrow's review show releases, which are in a different place for safekeeping, a safe space, one could say. So there are no spoilers. Even Pika does not know the contents of this bag. He does now. I also got we'll do that tomorrow. That's tomorrow's show. But yeah, so far this is just the small amount of comics I've got this year so far. And it's almost December, so at the end of the next month we'll be doing a best of and worst of show starring The Bag of Shame. Boom, 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 boom. And let's see if any of the DC or Marvel comic books actually crack the top 10 this year. What we're going to do today was, we do it every couple of shows or so, every couple of weeks. We just, we bag and board the new releases. And let's get to it. Whoa. Here we go. Well, this is the oversized Last Ronin #1 reprint that came out a couple of weeks ago. They're coming out weekly, so it's going to be 5 weeks in a row. We're going to see one of these bad Larrys. IDW is going to get $25 out of my Irish ass. Woo! Help keep you all in business. But these guys are going on my spinner rack. These are oversized. So this is how much bigger that they are compared to a traditional comic book. We like talking about things here because we talk about comic book stuff here. We do. That's our thing. It's like our culture. What are the dimensions of a modern comic book? While most modern comics published after the mid-1980s follow a standard 6 5/8 inch width and turkey's done, and actually laundry, and a 10 1/4 inch height. Sometimes comics take like different, to get noticed on a crowded shelf, you have different formats. Like such as this distillery. I found a space for it in my long box. It's literally like this. You see what I'm doing? You got one of these distillery ones. There's another distillery title out by Becky Cloonan and Tula Lote. Yeah, see, I put it to the side. I'm not touching that. Becky Cloonan got me blocked on Twitter for some kind of mind crime or adjacency. I don't play like that. They don't get my business. We started dancing and love put us into our groove. And now he's with somebody new. What? What could love want me to do? Let the music play. It won't get away. Pika, you and your musical interludes. What? You were a theater camp kid? You were? When did that happen? I never sent you to... Oh, it was back in Japan. Oh, okay. You had a life before me. Oh, that's what they all say. But yeah, so this is really good. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. I am really enjoying that. What else do we got? Part 2. Will Part 3 be this week's bag? We'll find out. Of course it is. But you guys are going on the spinner rack. Alrighty. Apparently I already threw a couple of these in there. Alright, we got Big Game number 5 of 5. But that goes into its dedicated Miller World box. Junior Baker, the Righteous Faker. Really good stuff so far. It's 3 issues. Was so impressed with it, I gave it a Mylar. I gave issue 1 a Mylar. But I doubled up. It's going to be 6 issues. We got Star Wars Visions by Peach Momoko, number 1. We've got G.I. Joe 301. There. And we got a couple of old friends. We're going to save these bags and reuse them next week. Actually, I got a whole stash of those bags. I'm not too thrilled with this Green Lantern, but I keep buying it because I don't know what else to do as a fan. Seriously, there's only so many titles that are made for us. Now, it's a big rallying cry in my culture, like, oh, it wasn't made for you. Oh, it wasn't made for you. But the stuff that's made for us is like few and far between. And it's good, and it's good, it's competent. I'm not saying it's not. I just think that the backup feature it's kind of boring, and it's basic, but that's, here we go into the whole thing again about is it a Big Mac or is it a steak? It's a Big Mac. It's not a steak. So yeah, I keep buying these, and I'm going to, but I'm not buying Green Lantern War Journal by Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's about Jon Stewart. It seems interesting. It's just too much modern purple. I'm so tired of modern purple. Got issue 2 of the Transformers. I love this stuff. Oh boy. We got issue 1 in a Mylar with the variant cover. Beautiful variant cover. We are bagging, we are boarding, we are boxing. That's the point of the show. Taking proper care of your comics. I should have been taking more proper care of these comics the entire time. I needed boards. Backing boards are very important. They help with spine roll. Little things like spine roll and corners. Those are going to be the culprits that take away from the 9.2 or above. Anything over a 9.2, I guess you got to get slabbed, right? Then a Batman issue, $4.99. There is a backup feature in this too. And over here, stage direction. That's your job. Over here. We've got a bag. We've got a board. I've prepped these ahead of time. Now, here's a good question. All right, I bought this off the... See that? That's a ding. All right, this is already not a 9.2. Now, this is how I bought it off the shelf on new release day. I should have tried to negotiate a better price for this. I paid $4.99 for this. It's already not worth $4.99 because, this is how it got a little mangled either in the box or somewhere in transit. I mean, should it even get a bag and a board at this point? Yeah, sure. That's, what we're doing. We started dancing and love put us into our groove. Yeah, that's part of the new releases. We're caught up on new releases. Yay. Let's go find something else to bag and board. Okay, turn to page 18? Okay, emergency show note idea. Go old school. All right. We're going to go old school for a few minutes. We started this show last year on January 1st, 2022. And what we did was I had an idea to do more positive, less outragey content, and I had this old friend from an old friend. One of my best friends gave me this hardcover coffee table book about 2 decades ago. This has been surfing my coffee table ever since. And if you haven't picked up on it yet, that's the inspiration for the comics coffee table itself. Literally, this book has been surfing my coffee table for almost 20 years. This is a 2004 Abrams Press publication. This is the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days. It's well loved. Its corners are taped up. And what we would do is we would open this book up to today's date. We would look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We would read the blurb, and then we'd talk about comic books. And that's how we were able to get the framework to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year, if you remember the old show. So we're going to just go back and do the old show real quick. Because, doing the show is important to me. All right, it's November the 25th. And this is some comic book art from the Golden Age. Pencils by Bob Kane and Lou Sayer Schwartz. Inks by Charles Paris. This is from Batman issue 50. December of 1948, January of 1949. Superhero comics were going into a decline about that time as well. After World War II finished, the trend was more of science fiction, fantasy, westerns, cowboys and Indians, kind of gunslingers, Wild Wild West fare, romance comics, and anthropomorphic animals for comedy stuff. So this is from November 25th. This is, so we page a day. We open up to today's date, look at some comic book art, then we read the blurb. In this issue, a gangster employs a lie detector to test his gang's loyalty, then uses it to make a captured Batman reveal the whereabouts of Robin, the boy wonder. Text helpfully explains the device. It works on the principle that when people try to conceal the truth, their blood pressure and pulse give them away. This story may have been intended as a tribute to Dr. William Moulton Marston, inventor of the lie detector and creator of Wonder Woman, who had died just a few months before this issue was prepared. It's not an actual page of a comic, it's a photo of an aspect of a comic's page, of the interior art. Yeah, and as I like to say that Wonder Woman was the original Golden Age feminist, subversive, very academic. I love talking about Golden Age Wonder Woman. William Moulton Marston's. He was also under the pen name of Charles Moulton, all right? But that Dr. Marston was only half of that pen name. The other half was Joy Hummel, his assistant, who took over writing responsibilities for Wonder Woman. She wrote the scripts, and then after his health began declining, she took over. So from 1940 to 1947 or 1948, Charles Moulton wrote Wonder Woman, and which I thought was a really interesting look into the past and into about things that we take for granted today, such as equality, college educations, suffrage, independent women, strong, stunning, brave. Back then, it was revolutionary and the way of the future. But Dr. Marston, William Moulton Marston, he was born in May 9th, 1893, and he passed away on May 2nd, 1947, at the age of 53. He was born in Saugus, Massachusetts, right here where I live in Massachusetts. He was educated at Harvard University. I've worked for a couple of universities. I've worked at Harvard. I worked at the law school between 2000 and 2004. I was an office rat for a couple of years. I took a couple of years off of the kitchens. I'm a professional chef. but he's a psychologist, he's an inventor, and he's a writer. He also had a non-traditional relationship, which was pretty big at the time, too. He had his wife, Elizabeth Holloway Marston, and their polyamorous life partner, Olive Byrne. Both of these two women contributed to, greatly influenced, I'm reading this from, you guessed it, the Wiki! Greatly influenced Wonder Woman's creation. And then throw in the third woman in that, kind of like, the Muses, or even if, you have Joy Hummel as part of that as well. These three educated, second wave feminist, maybe first wave feminist, to be honest, because we're so close to, women's suffrage. Women's right to vote. That was passed in June, and here in the United States, in the 19th Amendment, in 1919, and ratified on August 18th, 1920. So women's right to vote was only 20 years old when Wonder Woman had debuted. William, he had 2 kids with each wife, and they all lived together in one big happy home, raising their kids together. And Dr. Marston helped invent the lie detector. Yeah, the polygraph machine. He was a psychologist and a professor of psychology. And he elaborated on DISC theory. It's DISC assessments are behavioral self-assessment tools based on psychologist William Moulton Marston's DISC emotional and behavioral theory, first published in 1928. These assessments aim to predict job performance by categorizing individuals into 4 personality traits: dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance. Dominance produces an antagonistic environment. Inducement produces activity in a favorable environment. Submission produces passivity in a favorable environment, and compliance produces passivity in an antagonistic environment. Marston posited that there are masculine notions of freedom that is inherently anarchic and violent, and an opposing feminine notion based on love allure that leads to an ideal state of submission to loving authority. Remember, these were 20th century mores based upon all of history that came before it. And these were academics, too, and coming from the same academic thoughts. And the places with that would revolutionize the way we think, act, behave. All of the Madison Avenue advertising people come from there. All of our teachers and professors come out of there. So, and unfortunately, postmodernism comes from there too. But in the early 1940s, the DC Comics line was dominated by superpower-endowed male characters such as the Green Lantern and Superman, as well as Batman with his high-tech gadgets. According to the fall 2001 issue of Boston University Alumni magazine, it was the idea of Marston's wife, Elizabeth Holloway Marston, to create a female superhero. Marston recommended an idea for a new kind of superhero, one who would conquer not with fists or firepower, but with love. Fine, said Elizabeth, but make her a woman. And Marston introduced the idea to Max Gaines, the co-founder with Jack Leibowitz of All American Publications. That was the sister imprint to National Periodical Publications. Both of these houses would merge and become, eventually, DC Comics. Given the go-ahead, Marston developed Wonder Woman, basing her character on the unconventional, liberated, powerful modern women of his day. Marston's pseudonym, Charles Mouton, combined his own and Gaines's middle names. In a 1943 issue of the American Scholar, Marston wrote, "Not even girls want to be girls so long as our feminine archetype lacks force, strength, and power. Not wanting to be girls, they don't want to be tender, submissive, peace-loving as good women are. Women's strong qualities have become despised because of their weakness. The obvious remedy is to create a feminine character with all the strength of Superman, plus all the allure of a good and beautiful woman." And like I said, don't judge me. I'm reading this from the wiki. These are 20th century mores. What is a more? I love words. The essential or characteristic customs and conventions of a community. That is a more. Oh, that's a more. When the mud hits your eyes like a big pizza pie. That's a more? That's a different amore. That's love in Italian. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's that's all I got for today. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the new release review. We'll review all the comics that I read this week. A couple of surprises, and a couple of not so surprises, and then we're going to finish the last box, my last long box, and then our mission will be done. We will have reboxed, reboarded, and rebagged mostly my entire collection. And it's been a trip. It's been great. Also, I have to reformat the show. I don't know if I can continue doing the daily at 3 p.m. anymore. A couple of reasons. One being, the time it takes to produce a daily show, it's finally caught up with me after 2 years. I took August of this year off, and it was a good breath of fresh air, and don't take this, this is not about anything else besides trying to make a quality show. I feel I'm getting repetitive. I feel like I'm getting stale. I feel that, what are we going to do once we run out of back issues to rebag, reboard, and rebox? There are only so many new issues I can buy a week. I can totally commit to doing a twice weekly show, the Wednesday and the Sunday shows for new releases. It's getting harder and harder to find new releases to buy and to spend money on. And I don't want to contribute to... It's like we'll talk about Wonder Woman 3 tomorrow. We talked about Wonder Woman a little today, but we're going to really talk about Wonder Woman tomorrow. And especially with Wonder Woman issue number 3, written by Tom King and art by Daniel Sampere, which kind of crosses the line when it comes to like acceptable fictions, I guess, using these 85-year-old characters in play space. I mean, Tom King is notorious for being on brand, and Wonder Woman so I simultaneously, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but the DC Comics publishing, once again, Tom King ruining DC Comics for me as a buyer. First it was Heroes in Crisis, and not just the job of what he did to Wally West, the character, But DC editorial in particular for greenlighting that and not having any sensitivity about people who genuinely struggle with their mental health, with trauma, with triggers, with it's like who greenlit this and who thought it was a good idea not to have some kind of trigger warning about suicide or ideation, or it came to a point where that was the Wally was going to self-delete. And that was part of the story. And there was evidence for that too. There was a body, but he had to have done that once in order to have started the paradox. And then comes Booster with his Deus Ex Machina. No, we can go to the 25th century, clone you a body, and leave that as evidence. Terrible that the superheroes would choose any of these actions. Okay? But then there was Wonder Woman number 3 that came out this week that has something that just, it touches us with mores as a nation and how to respect military people. And this has its own story, and we'll elaborate it. But I'm at a point now where I'm like, do I want to buy DC Comics because of Tom King? I mean, it's... who is greenlighting this? Who is... It's not just King's fault. It's his editor's fault. It's the publisher's fault for allowing this to go to print. And I feel two ways about Wonder Woman number 3 that we'll get into tomorrow at length. It's part of our magazine show. But I'm at a point where I'm like, I with the diminishing quality of the product, the very few titles that are made for fans like me, and then to have someone like Tom King doing his thing, it's a turnoff. And I don't know if I want to be part of that. I don't know if I want to support DC Comics now. And I'm buying Action Comics. I'm buying Superman. I'm buying Green Lantern. I wanted to start buying Detective Comics because Ram V is so good, in my humble opinion. I know. I just got turned on to him recently. It's all new if you haven't read it yet. But why would I want to support a company that hires someone like that? I'm at a crossroads. So when it comes to making the show, we're going to expect changes in 2024. And and just different things too. It's like I can't even earn 10 hours of public view time a day, which matter to me. Like what's going to happen when I get monetized? It's just a goal I want to accomplish, and I'm getting there. And it's it's bit by bit, and it's taking time, and it does. And I'm blessed and grateful to be in the position to say, hey, I'm on the verge. I'm 500 hours away, which would be 50 days of if I had 10-hour days. And then somewhere along the line in the past couple of months, it's like it's fallen off with the viewership. So it's like the Sunday show works. The Wednesday show works. The other weekday shows, not so much. So, maybe I'm trying to think of like less is more, and do more with less. And not give up on the show. I mean, because it takes time, and to do this. And I have a full-time job and a life. We all do, but I mean, what am I going to do when I run out of back issues to celebrate with you guys? Where will the show go? It's going somewhere. It's going to continue, but it's going to change a bit. And I hope you all stick around for the ride. I genuinely love and appreciate everyone that shows up every day all the same people that we say each other in different chats too and on different shows. There's a gang of us. We're comic book fans, and we love talking about comic books. But I'm struggling with it right now. And sometimes it's not about the glass being half empty or glass full, or maybe it's just sometimes that you got to wash the glass and dry it and then refill it. Something like that, you know? But thank you so much for tuning in today. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books, well, every day for the rest of this year. And then, but we're going to keep at it. And we will see you in those funny pages. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. Cheers. Bye.